Words have power. Power to build, encourage, create, and transform. But words can also diminish, devalue, deceive, and destroy. It is said that we speak about 7,000 words a day. That's 7,000 opportunities to either tear ourselves apart or bring each other together. If every thought becomes a word and every word becomes an action, how are we fueled by our response to words? How does our state of mind, culture, gender, religion, or politics align with the words, phrases, and sentences we use every day? It's time to consider the human response to various situations that are powered by words. Omo, I've known you for a very long time.
I think so. Yes.
Yes. At least 40-something years.
Well.
Yes. Now, the point is that if I look back on your life so far, you've done so many different things. You started out as a fine artist, at least you studied art at ABU, Zaria. And as soon as you finished your youth corps, you picked up a job in a TV production studio, and you learned how to become an editor, a picture editor. You might have been amongst the first 2 or 3 women actually in Nigeria who were editors. Okay, you did that for some time, and then after that you became a lecturer. Okay, you're lecturing in art, and then the next thing I hear is that you are producing paper flowers and, you know, doing a lot of beautiful things at different events and having solo exhibitions. Now, the question is, do you think that life is about finding yourself or recreating yourself?
I think life is about being able to assess your situation or circumstance, determine whether or not you like it, and then make the moves to change if you do not like it. That is simply what I've been doing all this while. I was 8 years old when I knew I wanted to be an artist.
Okay.
I didn't dare tell my parents because my father wanted me to be a doctor, my mother wanted me to be a lawyer. And so what I did was I manipulated my scores in WAEC, my subjects, to make sure that the only thing I could study was visual arts.
That took some courage.
I waited until the last term in Form 5 to do that. So they had pre-signed the forms, and I just went and changed everything. I got to Zaria, I majored in graphic design.
Okay.
During my youth service, I came across a computer and determined that I wanted to work with computers. Unfortunately, at that time, the typical space for the graphic artist to work was in advertising. And then most advertising agencies didn't have computers for design.
Oh.
So I decided not to work with them.
All right.
And went into television post-production. Of course, being there, I had to learn how to use the computers, how to use the software programs and all of that. And I did that for a few years. Now, I think I got married in 1996. Okay, after 5 years, no children. I looked at my circumstance, I didn't like it, and I decided to stop work.
Okay.
I stopped being an editor, became a housewife.
All right.
Not a very good one, but a housewife. After about 7 years, I wanted to get back into the work system.
When you got married, as far as your husband was concerned, you were an editor, okay?
Yes.
And then after some time, you became a lecturer. And then you kept on changing. Now, what I wonder is, has he ever said anything to you? Has he ever said to you, look, Omo, tomorrow morning when we wake up, are you going to be a different person? Will you be doing something else again?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. He's been, I think about him and I call him my long-suffering husband because he's incredibly patient with me and he's very understanding. I think it's because he's also an artist. He's also a graphic artist, so he understands the the passion, he understands the spirit, he understands. I cannot count how many times I've been seated making my paper flowers and he comes and he says, "What's for lunch?" And I look up and I realize that, oh, it's been 4 hours, you know, and I say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I haven't." He says, "Okay, no problem, no problem." And he goes and concocts something, you know, so he's very, very supportive in that way. I think at the beginning he didn't quite understand what he had gotten himself into. But over time, you know, 25 years is a long time.
It is.
To be with someone, and I think over time he's been honest with himself, and I think he knows well what's what.
Okay, so would you describe your situation as variations of the same model, or is it that you have been discovering new talents?
A visual artist told me some years back that creativity should never be caged. He said that we are all inborn with some set different levels of creativity. Labeling yourself as a writer or a painter or a sculptor may not be accurate or right. When you have your creative inspiration, whatever direction it takes you to, you should follow. And I guess that is all I've been doing, because I do not limit my thoughts. There's very little, except maybe build a car, that I haven't tried to do. It gives me a lot of pleasure, and so I don't stop myself. So I encourage my students, especially, like when I give them assignments and we have projects to work on, and they're like, "I'd love to do this, but I can't." I said, "No, don't add any buts first. The country and this world will give you the buts you need. Let your dreams go as big and as wide as you want them to be, or as you need them to be, or as God has inspired that you should make them." I say, and then then little by little start to prune, but do not restrict yourself. You know, so with that in mind, I see that that's basically what I've done. I've moved from TV graphics to, in those 7 years of being at home, I was a crafter. I'd make necklaces, I'd bake, I'd make clothes for people. There was a time I made only wedding dresses.
Really?
Yes, my own and all my other poor friends. So but I made, including Cletus.
Oh,
I made his, yeah.
I see.
Yeah, so
okay.
I made wedding dresses, I made clothes, you know. So it's an exploration, let me say.
Yeah.
It's an exploration down the path of creativity. There's nothing that should stop or deter anyone from doing that.
So your final advice would be that if you have that creative spark in you, just let it flow freely.
Yes.
Wherever it takes you.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you are not creative as an engineer, you will not be able to come up with creative solutions to things. If you're not creative as a plastic surgeon, you will not be able to see things that can be done.
Absolutely.
In new ways. If you're not creative, whatever field you are in, you are a creative. And when you realize that, you will work better and have better results, no matter the area of specialization that you are.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that's very good advice for someone who is watching and listening. Thank you.
Thank you.